From birth, many of us ADHD women were taught not to trust our bodies, not to trust our intuition, that our experience was invalid, that our sensory experience was wrong. And so many of us learned to shut that down and instead follow what others did so we could be safe. And while that worked for a while, the problem is now that we're adults and many of us are trying to connect with our body's wisdom and even just notice when our body needs something and even connect with our intuition, it can feel almost impossible. The reason is because we shut it all down from a very early age to stay safe. So then how do we get reconnected with our body? How do we reconnect with our intuition? For one, I'd say any kind of trauma resolution for trauma that you have around needing to stay safe. And personally, I have found yoga, especially yoga that is focused on interoception and choice making, to be very, very helpful. The thing about the average yoga class is we use in a regular yoga class something called command language. So if you're at the top of your mat, we say something like step your left foot back, bend your right knee, you're in a lunge, right? In something that is more trauma sensitive, we use invitational language and choice making, which is if you like, you might step your left foot back. You could bend your right knee. You may be in this lunge shape. And that sounds very, very differently. And so, if you are wanting to reconnect with your body, one way to do that is through a trauma sensitive yoga class. You can also add another layer, which is to build interoception. Interoception is our ability to notice our internal experience, to have awareness of our internal experience, something that a lot of us turned off. And that's why it's so hard to connect with our intuition. It can be almost impossible because a lot of times the way our intuition speaks to us is through our different senses. So, interoception, when you're practicing it, is basically noticing where you feel something in your body. In trauma center, trauma sensitive yoga, what I'm certified in and teach in my program Ascend, we use interoceptive cues that are titrated so it's not too big. Because sometimes, if we aren't used to connecting with our bodies and someone says, notice where you feel that in your body, it can feel so overwhelming and big, like, I don't even know, or it can even feel triggering. Whereas in trauma center, trauma sensitive yoga, we say more clearly, if you're in this lunge shape, you might notice some sensation on the top of your leg. You might notice it somewhere else. And that is a way to titrate it down so that you're not just having to generally notice. So, how can you do this on your own? If you're like, Jen, I don't know how to access trauma center, trauma sensitive yoga, which by the way, you can go to traumasensitiveyoga.com and find that. There's classes all over the world in TCTSY. And in the meantime, you can check in with where you feel something in your body. And to titrate it, what you could do is say, do I notice this in my legs right now? And that way you're taking it to a smaller part of your body. So it's not like, notice where you feel it. Or do I feel this in my back? Do I feel this in my hands? It is a way for you to start to connect with your body in a more titrated way. I'd love to hear that you've gone and tried this and to hear how it goes for you. So make sure you leave a comment. If you have any questions, feel free to comment as well. This connection is so important for us to rebuild because as we get older, we are in charge of our own lives and we need to make decisions. And without being connected to our intuition, without even being connected to our body, we miss the important messages being sent to us from within. And we can also miss warning signs of illness or even hunger or needing to go to the bathroom because we've shut that all down. So take the time to start to nurture your connection with your body and perhaps even your inner experience of it. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.